Alright, welcome to another episode of Free Code Friday. My name is Jason Bach, and this is actually episode 3, which I'm actually recording on a Saturday night, and it's snowing out, but yeah, what do you expect? I live in Minnesota, so we get that kind of stuff in February. So I've already shoveled the driveway twice. I think my wife is going to take the next round before we go to bed, and if I have to do it one more time, we're going to see Black Panther tomorrow morning, Sunday morning. So it should be done by then. Should actually, last I checked, it was going to end around 3 in the morning. So shouldn't be too bad. It's not been a really heavy downpour snow, if that's even the correct phrase. Anyway, so getting back to what I was doing last time. What was I doing last time? I think I was struggling with the fact that I was using this for, what was it? Just want to check real quick. Recording, yes, we're recording, good. What I was doing last time was trying to clean up some of this code in the rocks library, and I noticed that some of these methods were actually returning a method adornments of a T result, and the rest of them were method adornments. In the action, I also think that they are adornments as well, but no, those always return. So we might be able to actually have this method be used. I think we decided that was handle lambda would actually be used by all of them. So this might be a whole bunch of boringness. But what I did do is I did run the tests, and other than getting that one that fails for reasons that hopefully I'll fix in a moment, let's see, let's put that here. That just confused everything. I just confused all the formatting styles. Let's take that out. And this does not need that because there is no, right. And then that's just adornments. And then put it up. It's kind of weird that the formatting is getting a little, like, why is it doing that? That's bizarre. Well, why is it actually, like, putting a space there? It should not be doing that. Because these are all that's bizarre. Because I am a tabs person. Oh my god. How did that happen? That's just heresy. And even if that's there, that ain't right. I do 3. Did you ever do something that you're just like, what are you doing? What is this code doing? No, it's okay. So that if I do a reformat, it's fine. And the thing I'm also a little perplexed about is if I come here, I do have an editor config, and so why is it not following that? That's kind of weird, because it should be tab and it should be size 3. I don't know why it's not doing that. Well, when all else fails, close it down and start over again. And no guarantees that this is I don't even spend time on formatting. That's ridiculous. So why is it doing this? Why are you being such a pain in the butt? Come on. Oh, now you go back to being fine. Okay. Sure. What other Visual Studio? Whatever. Okay, so they're actually doing it. Okay, that should be fine now. And that, that's just the fun of being a coder. Is your tool just gets in all the ways, and you're like, oops, no, not that. Just copy. And that. The nice thing about getting this eventually done is the fact that the fact that this is going to be less code. And the interesting thing is that even with it being less code, it doesn't mean it's going to be faster. Maybe even arguably it would be slower because you have a call to a call, and what actually has happened at JIT time and when it generates the actual x86 or x64 or whatever. That because you have this extra function call in between, that maybe that would technically make it a little bit slower. I'm not sure. Arguably, what I should be doing is with all this is doing performance tests and saying, hey, is this going to suddenly make the performance tank? But I'm guessing the performance by doing this is going to be negligible compared to actually having this all in separate functions. And it's also just going to, it's going to be less code that I have to maintain. It's less code that I'm repeating all over the place. And the less code that you write is better. I remember reading or hearing once that, one of the phrases is the best code that you write is the code that you don't write at all, which there's a truth to that, but of course, that's saying that if you can, one, use from somebody else what they've done that works really well, then why not do that? If you can get rid of some code, then that's just literally less code that you have to maintain. So there's benefits in that. But our job as developers is to write code. So eventually we're going to have to do it at some point and do maybe a fair amount of it. I also heard a phrase once that, a junior developer will write a lot of, 1,000 lines of code a day or whatever it is, a lot of code in a day. And a senior developer will write, well, not actually write, they'll take away 1,000 lines of code a day. And the principal developer won't write any code at all, or something to that effect. I may be totally screwing it up because it's late at night and I'm not thinking straight. But more to the point that somebody who's done this for a long time knows that sometimes the best thing to do is not write anything at all. Just think about it for a moment, or use what somebody else has done, that type of thing. So we got a lot of these to go because I remember right, this goes up to what 16? Yeah, because the funcs and the arguments all take 16. So I got to find a way to keep you all entertained while I blast through all these things. And I don't think there's an easy way to do this. Well, could I? Could I say, no, it's not going to be that smart. EFS, let's try that. No, it's not. I could actually do this in Notepad++, but what I'm saying here is anywhere where I have just these two arguments coming in, it's eventually going to be that. So let's just find all those. And then eventually, yeah, because then I can do I can do this, but then say change all in the document, and do that all at once. All right, cool. That actually makes a lot of sense. So let's try that. And then I'm also going to run all the tests, obviously, after I do this in the funcs, and then I'll do the same thing in the actions. That's the beauty of having tests. I have, I think, like 780 something right now, and that gives me a lot of confidence that I can do something like this and have coverage over what I'm doing. I'm still amazed when people, to this point in 2018, will tell me that they're not writing unit tests on any of their projects. There are no unit tests. They just joined a company, and There's no unit test to speak of in the code base. And for those people that are just coming into a situation that they didn't start and it's not really their fault, I got a feel for them. And you could say, well, they should know better. They should have found that when they did the interview and said, hey, what's your process for coding? Like, what do you do for reviews? What do you use for source control? What do you do for testing? And they say, well, we don't have any tests. And you run away screaming because you're just going to be asking for pain upon pain. This is something I just insist on every project I'm on. You have to have unit tests. You have to have coverage over what you're doing, and you got to make sure that you're exercising your code so that you know that it's doing what you expect it to do, whether it's throwing an exception when you expect it to, or whatever the case may be. Was that one? Yeah, it was. Okay. And because, again, you can do something like this. You can just blast through all the code and say, let's apply that. What? You didn't do it on all of them? You piece of crap. You're supposed to do this on all of them. Preview changes, find all occurrences in document. Oh, okay. It's literally the occurrences of this thing. So it's not going to, well, fine, whatever. I can do this a little quicker, though. So, I mean, yeah, if you don't have tests, there's no way you can do this with any kind of confidence, because you're just going to be wondering, what did I screw up? Did I miss one case? And not that unit tests are a panacea and that they're perfect, right? They're only as good as you write them. And I could well be missing some cases and things that I didn't expect, and that's a perfectly valid statement. But given what I know about the tests that I wrote and how many there are, and I was pretty diligent about going through as I was writing all this code to make sure, as I added it, did I have tests covering those cases of things I just added. In fact, in the first episode when I was going to fix a bug in this that really wasn't a bug, there we go. Okay, it really wasn't a bug. I was going to say first, let's actually write a test to make sure that it didn't cause anything to break, which is the right thing to do. Or let me say that again. Write some tests to make sure it does break because it is a bug, and then once I fix the bug, those tests should light up and become green and pass, and then I know everything's okay. So, since it wasn't a bug, and I decided, well, it wasn't a bug, never had to do that, but I would have done that if that was the case. All right, so we got those two test projects. That should do. Come on. There you go. Run those projects. And that's one of the things that I have on my list while those two console apps go off running, is to eventually do some test cleanup and have it so that these tests actually run as projects within Test Explorer and Visual Studio. They don't right now, and I'll explain why later. If that's standard, you kind of know why. But this has worked for now, but this has got to eventually go away. Okay, so we've got still the one failing and those still passing, so that's good. At least that didn't break anything. All right, so what was the line count? Should have actually. I don't have that open. Though I should be able to say well, no, compared to this one, because that's the one I just. No, that's not what I want. I want you to compare. Well, I'm missing the command. Where is the command that's telling me? And this is what I was missing before. This is, for some reason, this was either I was missing it or it wasn't showing up, the lines. Okay, this is actually showing me that the code has gone down. So it was, you know, way on the bottom here. It was 440 lines of code. Now it's down to 150. So that's actually what? Just do some 150, 300, 450. So that's about 3 times less code. So, and it does the exact same thing. So that is awesome. All right, so let's get that. Now, if I go to actions, if I remember right, just doing a quick pass. These all look like they do the same thing, and then let's make sure. I think I'll expression. I'm just trying to make sure, do a glance that I'm not screwing up and I'm not forgetting something. Okay, so now let's actually take a look at the function here of the method, because this is a lambda. Because we want this to do what this is doing. So it's a method called expression of body, does a method, has the namespaces, and then we get the func, which is going to tell us the argument expectations that we're going to pass in, which they'll give us back. And then we do add or update, info list handler. But the problem is that this returns a method of dormants of a T result, even though the actual return value is this is the thing that also was confusing me is these are all calling handle lambda, even though this returns a method of dormants. This is what I wanted to try. Okay, so wait a minute, let me back up, because I know that was good. Okay, so let's see something, you know. Good. All right. So that's what I wanted to do, is this. So let's run the tests on this now and see if this is clean, because if this works, then I'll have a lot more confidence that what I am doing here, I can just use the same thing, because then they're all returning a method of dormants, not of a method of dormants of T. Though then part of me is going, why do all these you know, have nothing here to say what's the result, because these are funcs. And my brain is just going, I have no idea. So let's see here. 796, 95. Okay, that's good. And then this is okay. So learn something new. So actually, this does not matter. And then I can change all these to handle lambda, because that's all they need. So I can grab this, and for all the ones that are just taking a handler, like this one, except now it's not a handler information, it's just a T result, it's just that. Oh, that's going to be a little different. Uh-huh. Can I don't remember if it's the generics part of it. Let me just try this. And then if I take this off, you no longer need this. Yes, that's good. That's okay. And the thing I was trying to remember is there's a generic effect of signature, so you can overload on it, and that's actually exactly the case. Though I'm going to put this in here because this is actually the right spot for it, because it's not going to be used in the other partial. It's just going to be used in this one. Oh, you don't have the right namespaces. That's fine. Yeah, I think I had to do that there too. Okay. All right, so, oh, and I just changed it down here. Okay, and then I got to take that out. Okay, so handle expectations, cool. Now let's just do a couple of these and make sure that I'm on the right path. okay, that I'm doing the right thing. Okay, let's actually just run these because I know I have tests for actions and functs, and then let's see, this is not breaking anything, and if it's not, then I can go off and do all the rest of them. Incremental changes. Don't want to change the whole world and boil the ocean and realize I screwed everything up and I got to undo everything. So we'll wait for that to finish. Again, we only have one test failing. And they all work. Okay, so this is on the right path. Good. Okay, so I have to go through again. All these that are just taking that. And we'll eventually get to you. We'll come back to you, don't worry. Don't be sad. And change all these out. And I can't assume, I'm like getting into a pattern already. I'm like, it's every other one, so I should just, be able to blast them in there, but I want to make sure. I want to check every time I'm doing it, just do a really quick eye glance and make sure that I'm getting the right one and not inadvertently doing something. And again, if I was using an editor that had a little bit better pattern matching, or if maybe there's something in Visual Studio that I'm missing that would have allowed me to say, hey, if you find a chunk of code that looks like this in this file, then change it to just this one call. That would have actually been even faster. And I bet there is. I hope if there's one person that's watching this will be able to tell me, you dummy, this is what you're supposed to do. Or somebody will say Emacs or Vim or I don't know. Even if there was something in Notepad++, which is my go-to text editor, when I'm just trying to do something outside of Visual Studio or whatever, it might actually have that ability to do that. And so why am I not even going there? Well, let's do that when I change this. Okay, let's actually go through this, and we'll see if it can do the other ones where I have the expected call counts. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so let's come here. Let's say open rocks, and then it's actions. So what this would be is now I need expected call counts, and that goes away. But now what I really want to do is I want to say change all that to this. And boom. Yes. Why? There we go. Okay. So the little formatting off, it doesn't keep, like I notice here, it's not doing the space right, but it did actually do all the things right. So now if I say use expression bodies, that goes away. That's sweet. And since I'm all going to change these expression bodies anyway, that's going to go away. But okay, people in the Visual Studio team, you see what Notepad++ just did there? You need to add that in as an editor feature. Is that was cool that I could just do that and say replace all of them. No, not the quick search. And take this chunk of text and replace it with this chunk of text, and it did it pretty much exactly what I wanted to. Just got the that one return line missing, but that if I would have captured what I was looking for as a search a little bit better, that I think that actually would have been handled too. But either way, the fact that I couldn't do that in Notepad++ very easily. I mean, and it wasn't like I searched for something in Visual Studio and I said, hey, just take this chunk of text and do some type of find and replace. And either I don't understand how Visual Studio does find and replace, or they just don't have this feature. I don't know. But that would be a cool one to have. All right, we're getting to the end of this. And we're almost there. Then I want to also see what the trim of the line count is, because it should be going down. Oh, come on. There you go. What? There we go. And that's all of them. Cool. Yes, but you're going to close because I don't want you to up anymore. So now if I come back here, the actions, it was, come on, about the same. So slightly less than 3 times, but still less code. So of course the proof is in the pudding, in the sense that I need to actually run all my tests, and see where that goes. Hopefully this should all pass, and then I can put this cleanup thing to rest, which would be a good one. Oh, there's 2 other lines, 2 functions I forgot at the top. That's right. I need to go back there and change them. All those are good. Good. Okay, so now if I come back up here, I think what I can do is just this, and there's no handler, obviously. There's just expectations. So I can get rid of that. Change that, and then also this is probably will get it to exactly 3 times less code or something like that, because it's, so this is not expected. Call count. All right, well, let's run these. If this is good, then I think I'll be at the end of this episode. Because it'll be almost 30 minutes. Yeah, that'd be a good stopping point. So we'll finally have this little refactoring done. Which is, if you think about it, that was a fair amount of time, but I'm also talking and trying to blab and fill up dead space. Which I wouldn't be doing if I was actually coding and focused. So they're all good. So I'm going to actually merge all that in and be done with this branch, and that'll be cool. So I'm going to end this episode here. Thank you for watching. If you've got any comments, questions, whatever, please put them in the comments section, and that can influence other episodes I do in the future. So thanks for attending and listening, and I will see you next time.